Did you know the US once planned to nuke China after World War II? This is one of the most chilling stories almost no one talks about. In 1949, just a few years after the end of World War II, the United States had emerged as a global superpower. America had crushed Nazi Germany in Europe and defeated Imperial Japan in the Pacific. But as peace settled across much of the world, a new threat began to rise, and this time it was China. For decades, China had been consumed by a bloody civil war. On one side was the nationalist government, led by Chiang Kai-shek. On the other side was the Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong. In 1949, Mao's forces won. The Communist Party took control of mainland China, and Chiang Kai-shek fled to the island of Taiwan with his remaining supporters. To the United States, this wasn't just bad news. It was a nightmare. America was already locked in a Cold War with the Soviet Union, and now the most populous country in the world had also turned communist. US leaders feared that communism would spread like wildfire across Asia, to Korea, Vietnam, South Asia, and beyond. They believed that if the US didn't act fast, half the planet could fall under communist rule. Inside the Pentagon and the White House, American generals and politicians began planning how to stop China. One of the loudest voices was General Douglas MacArthur, the legendary World War II commander. He believed the US should stop communism in China at any cost. Secret strategies were drafted, and years later, declassified documents revealed just how far those plans went. America had seriously considered using nuclear bombs on China. At first, the plan was to send American troops to China's coastline to assist the nationalist forces in fighting back the communists and overthrowing Mao's new government. But then things escalated. Some US officials argued that conventional warfare might not be enough. They began considering the use of atomic weapons. And this wasn't fantasy. Just 4 years earlier, the US had dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The idea of doing it again wasn't unthinkable. These officials believed that dropping nukes on China could prevent communism from taking over Asia, but the plan never came to life. So what stopped America? Two major reasons. First, the American public was tired of war. After World War II, the nation had lost thousands of soldiers. People wanted peace. They had no appetite for another long, bloody conflict, especially one that could drag on for years. Second, attacking China wasn't simple. China was massive, with a huge population and difficult geography. Worse, a war with China could pull in the Soviet Union, which had its own nuclear weapons. That would mean World War III. The risks were just too high. The US decided to pull back. The bombers were stood down. The nuclear attack was canceled, but the fact that this plan even existed is terrifying. The world came dangerously close to another nuclear war. If those bombs had dropped, the course of human history might have changed forever. The modern map, our political alliances, even the very concept of world power, could have looked completely different.